Hey, what's up? Lord Skunk here, lordskunk.com. This segment here was taken from one of our past live shows. Make sure you check out our live shows every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Subscribe so you'll be notified when we go live. All right, so in this segment, we're going to go over. We have Lord Wrath from Team Skunk, Malya Bean from Team Skunk. We're going to go over the top raid teams, or a top... the top raid teams for each phase. We're going to go over that, okay? Because many guilds, especially Tier 7, many guilds put people in groups and they send them in that way. A lot of people follow kind of our format, what we do. They get a lot of messages from different guilds, ask some questions about that, and they follow it from the shows. So Lord Wrath is our number one right now. He's our number one for the last raid that we just did. Let's see, where's Malya Bean at? There's Malya Bean number 4. Okay, so they're legit. They know what they're talking about. All right, so let's start. We'll start with Malya Bean, and then we'll hear what Wrath has to say. Let's start with Phase 1. And this is a Tier 7 raid. Let's give us your best team.
So the classic answer is Phasma lead, and then Qui-Gon Jinn to dispel the taunts and retribution, Rex to cleanse your team of the skull, and then good DPS, which is Rey, Geonosian Soldier. Yeah, it gives me 5. Now, last night, new video came out. You can turn meter control the captain if you have a specific team. So this is taking over the classic example. It's a T-Bow lead, so you have T-Bow stealth with turn meter control. You have Jawa with Omegas on his basic to apply speed down 50% of the time. And then you finish that off with Qui-Gon Jinn for the dispel, Rex for the cleanse, and Geonosian Soldier. So that is now the best Phase 1 damage.
Okay, so just to recap, that's T-Bow lead, and he has to have his leadership ability Omega for stealth, right? The stealth and turn meter?
I don't think so. I think you might get... I don't even know if you can Omega the leadership ability. Let me look.
Yes, you can. It's gives you 50% chance to stealth instead of 25%. And I think it's 3 Omegas.
Yeah, I've got it right here.
Yep, adds an additional 25% turn meter gain chance.
So that's huge. That's a 25% chance to gain, or 50% chance to gain 25% turn meter at the end of the turn. And then you need Jawa to have Omegas on his basic attack, which applies speed down, which is the most important debuff to have in Phase 1. It's one of the best parts about Phasma, but Phasma's potency is about half of what Jawa's is at maximum gear. So that's why Jawa is a better choice.
Oh, sorry, I had Jawa Engineer up. We want Jawa, just regular Jawa.
Just regular Jawa. Now, Jawa hits very hard, especially with the debuffed, against debuffed tunes. And the other thing that's nice about Jawa versus 5s is that double tap adds turn meter to the captain. So you're better off applying speed down with a single hard-hitting basic attack than a double tapping basic attack that you'd see in 5's Omega. And then you just have 3 damage tunes. So you have Qui-Gon Jinn for the dispel, Rex for the cleanse, and Geonosian Soldier, because there's so much good turn meter control with the basic attacks, you're better off with an assist than classically a Rey.
One of the things with Qui-Gon, right, is that with 240 potency, his turn meter reduction is decent, works fairly often.
Interesting. Okay, good. And then, what points do you have on that Wrath for Phase 1?
Actually, we use the same teams. They're really solid. Obviously, if you don't have Rex, you can use someone like Akbar, because you absolutely have to have someone to clear that death skull debuff, so you don't just get mowed through. So if you're free to play, basically be Phasma, Qui-Gon, Rey, Akbar, and Geonosian Soldier. The nice thing about Geonosian Soldier is that with his assist, he calls Qui-Gon quite a bit, so you end up getting turn meter reduction there too.
Nice.
But you have to alpha Qui-Gon's basic, or Omega his basic attack.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I highly recommend that on Qui-Gon. A lot of people are talking about Omegaing his second ability where he calls an assist because it will heal them, but for the raid purposes, I don't think that's as important. That would be more if you were using it.
Yeah, that's more of it's an arena.
Yeah. Okay, so really high priority on Omegaing Qui-Gon Jinn's basic if you haven't done so. Also for Jawa, a lot of people had him when they started the game, so they probably didn't do a lot with him. So you need to go back, maybe look at Jawa, and then look at Tebow. We've been talking quite a bit about Tebow and Ewok teams for the last couple months since Tripper came out, really. So some people probably have already started a little bit of headway on Tebow. So yeah, not too bad of a team. I mean, those are all pretty common characters except for Jawa. So cool, very cool. All right, who you guys thinking for Phase 2, Wrath?
I would go with something along the lines of probably Phasma, assuming that you didn't use him in 1. You're probably not going in 1 and 2 just because the health is so low in Tier 7. So Phasma, I like my First Order TIE Pilot with him. Maxed out, he's actually hitting really hard and has some decent health now. Han is a taunter. Yoda is good. And Leia to put up her 2x crit bonus.
Okay, I'm going to correct you because we're going to get a ton of comments. Phasma is a girl. Okay, Phasma
yeah.
Yeah, don't forget that. Even though
it's
Brianna Tarth, she looks like a man. It's really a
and it's a Stormtrooper Han, not the Rogue Han.
Yeah, Stormtrooper Han. Yep, good call. All right, so just to recap, that is Phasma lead potentially if you have Phasma.
First Order TIE Pilot.
First Order TIE Pilot if you have him. Okay.
Yes.
Stormtrooper Han.
Yep.
Leia.
Yep. And Yoda.
Yoda. Okay. And then special note on Yoda: make sure that you want to have him in there above 50% health on the Rancor, right?
Yep. Exactly.
And you need a very geared out Stormtrooper Han to be able to run that kind of thing.
He needs to be maxed or he'll die pretty quick.
If you have a Gear 9 Stormtrooper Han, you're better off with damage. Or a Royal Guard, but damage is probably better.
Yeah, so a lot of people ask about phase 2, and they ask about tanks and stuff. How do you guys feel about them? I mean, take Stormtrooper Han out, because you're not really using him necessarily for a tank. You're using him more for his turn meter that he's giving everybody. What are your thoughts on tanks and taunting in phase 2?
I go either way. So I've been using also Trooper because he hits pretty hard and applies Resistance. Trooper applies expose, which is nice.
Yeah, cutting in and out. I don't know if it's just me.
Wrath, you there?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so that's your team. Okay, what are you thinking, Malia? What are you thinking for your team for phase 2?
Yeah, I agree with him 100%. It's important to have to be able to add extra turns when the door's down, and you do that with Phasma, and speed down with Phasma is very important. It'd be interesting to see that same Jawa speed down basic attack also. See whether that team from phase 1 may have some viability in phase 2. We don't know that quite yet because none of us have that team. But I think what Wrath put out's a great team.
Yeah. Now, okay, let's talk about some of these characters that they may not have. So, if you don't have First Order TIE Pilot, which a lot of people don't, who would you put in?
Well, I don't think you said Rey. Most people have Rey.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Yep.
Rey's probably as good as a Gear 11 First Order TIE Pilot. The benefit of that First Order TIE Pilot is the 40% increased risk of assist compared to 20%. So, with the Phasma lead. So Rey's a great choice if you don't have FOTP.
And if you don't have Leia, somebody like Geonosis Soldier, then you think, or maybe
Absolutely.
Hoth Rebel Scout?
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of Hoth Rebel Scout because his damage is kind of lackluster and his stun is inconsistent and but I think Geonosian Soldier is a great addition.
Okay. Is Ewok Scout anywhere in here? Now his basic does remove Terminator too.
His potency's only like 60 though, so it just doesn't stick. At least it doesn't for me.
And unless you Omega him, the chance of turn meter reduction, I believe, is like 35%, 40%. So you have low
40.
potency and you have a relatively low percent chance. So he doesn't usually make that cut.
Yeah. If you Omega that, it would be 55%. Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. All right, let's talk about phase 3. What's the difference? Well, let's talk about this. Let's tell people the difference. Some people have never done tier 7. What's the difference between phase 2 and phase 3 for tier 7?
There's one thing intra-phase you need to know, that once you go past 50%, you get a 50% speed buff when the door drops. So if you are trying to time out attacks to maximize damage, be aware that you will get a little extra damage if you can wait past that 50% mark. In phase 2, you will do more damage if the Rancor has a debuff on him, and in phase 3, you will do less damage if your personal tunes are debuffed. So that's why someone like a Rex or an Akbar, a cleanser, is very important to max your damage. You'll get the door down and you'll get that same burst, but once the door goes back up, you'll very quickly get behind in damage if you don't have a cleanser. So it's the same basic team that Wrath put up before, but you're replacing your lowest damage tune with a cleanser like a Rex or an Akbar.
Or Lobot.
Or if you happen to have mistakenly spent time and energy on Lobot, you could use him.
Some of us have made bad choices.
What about Elder?
Yep, also works.
Okay, you walked Elder. Okay. Now, let's put together just a couple teams for people, just so they have an idea when it gets to phase 3. Throw out a couple options, because some people may have burned some of their characters by now. Who's kind of a good team with who's left, who we haven't really went over? Old Ben?
So Old Ben and Phasma leads tend to have very comparable damage, and Old Ben leads are less reliant on gear, because you're getting turn meter manipulation rather than increased survival. So if you have a gear 9 Ray, you actually do a little bit better with Old Ben compared to Phasma. So Old Ben is a great choice to add additional attacks after the door comes up. I personally like to have Old Ben around for phase 4. I just did 90,000 or 85,000 damage because Old Ben just happened to be chomped on in phase 4, and I got a couple extra attacks out of my high damage dealers, but he's a great option in phase 3 if you've already burned through Phasma.
Yeah, and I would definitely, for me, I prefer to use him in 3 over 4. And I'll get to why when we get to phase 4.
Okay, and then before we get to phase 4, healers. Everybody always asks about healers. Well, where should I put my healer at? I have my Lumi, I have my Barris. I even got old Daco. Where do I put these characters at? Do I even need healers in the first 3 phases? How does that work?
I don't use healers in any phase.
I don't either.
Unless they accidentally get stuck when I'm trying to press auto as fast as possible before Wrath clears the raid.
In phase 4?
Yeah,
I have a very distinct phase 4 strategy that I use.
Yeah, no, I know your strategy.
All right, so healers are not as important in tier 7. Okay, so let's hear about phase 4. Let's hear what you got, Wrath. What you got? You got some goodies for us.
For me in phase 4, I take the highest damage dealers I have that have quick animation. And so there's a reason I do that. It's so you're in a Zerg fight basically at that point, right? It's just as your team's only going to survive 1 or 2 rounds anyway. A ton of damage is coming. It's kind of your one chance to just kind of go full out, right? So it's just kind of crazy time. If you have fast animations, you get through your teams quicker and their attacks, so you roll up your Zerg numbers faster. And that's why I don't use Old Ben in 4. He dodges so much that he's not putting out, if he doesn't get eaten, so if he gets eaten, you're golden. You're going to do a ton more damage. If he doesn't get eaten, he dodges really well, but he doesn't do a lot of damage. So if he's the last one left, you could lose a whole round of Zerg attacking with a new team.
It's very true. I did that with Yoda, and it just went on forever on my phase 4, and it kind of hurt me because I couldn't get more teams in. I literally went in with 1 team and that was it because it just went on for so long. I probably missed out. I probably could put 2 other teams in, you know what I'm saying, if you would have done it quicker. So who are some fast animation characters?
Well, so assuming that you haven't used him in any of the other ones, right? So First Order TIE Pilot is always good. Ayla is good because she has decent survivability, at least for me. Plus, she tends to counterattack as well, so she gets in a fair number of attacks. Resistance Trooper has been good. Luke is a little slow. Genosian Soldier is good. Tusken Raider is a little slow. I might use my Ewok Scout at that point. He's fairly decent, fast. Kit is fairly fast, so
Yeah, kid's got really good health too,
Yep.
and can counter as well.
Plus, they're high up on my roster, so it's easy for hop into these groups. You're going to be running auto.
Yep, just spam them in there, man. Get them in there as fast
Yep.
as you can.
Find a decent leader and some DPS.
I frequently hit battle before I even see what's on my team.
Yeah, phase 4 is definitely great. Yeah, if you've never done a tier 7, it's a lot different, man. It's a lot different than a tier 6. It's that phase 4. It's basically just spam as many teams as you can possibly get in before the raid's over. So, yeah.
Yep, it's organized chaos. I think it's pretty fun though.
Yeah, I like it. Cool. Okay, so we got through all of our raid teams. If you guys have any questions, leave those in the comments below, and I'll make sure that Wrath and Malia check those out, and they'll answer any questions you guys have. Now, also, if you haven't done so, head over to our Discord, lordskunk.com. Click on Discord up at the top. It'll bring you over to the lordskunk.com Discord server, and those they're both in there as well. They look for questions. Also, we have several other very high-level players in there. Wiseman Pendle from Team Instinct's in there, always answering questions in the early morning, afternoon. He's at EU time, so good stuff. But thank you, Malia Bean, and thank you, Lord Wrath, for giving us this information. And we'll definitely answer any questions that anybody has. Thanks for checking out the video. If you're interested in joining a guild, head over to teamskunk.com. We do have open positions in our various guilds. Also, check out lordskunk.com for guides and news for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, LordSkunk1. Also, check out our Discord app. It's a voice and text chat program that you can download on your Mac, your PC, your iOS, or your Android device, and you can connect with thousands of other Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes players. Want access to the ally codes of some of the most infamous players in all the galaxy? Head over to lordskunk.com, click on links, then click on promo, and follow the directions there. We draw winners every Friday during the live show. If you like this video and want to see more, make sure you hit the like button. Also hit the subscribe button. You'll be notified when we go live and when we upload new videos. Thanks for checking out lordskunk.com.